I looked at JUCO as an opportunity to prepare myself and play higher level football. But a lot of kids that were there, great kids, great teammates, people I talk to every day. Still talk to my JUCO teammates every day, even more than I talk to the ones from UAB. That's how tight our bond was. It was like a step up from high school, I guess you could say. But it was academics, and that was the biggest struggle that they had. So now coaching 4-star and 5 stars, I feel like I can relate to them. I consider myself a player's coach.
We the one that got the power when it's time to make a change. One time for the underdog, yeah. One time for the underdog, yeah. One time for the underdog, yeah. One time for the underdog.
What's going on?
What's good, man? Appreciate you having me on.
Yes, sir. Zach, man. First off, I want to thank you for joining me on the segment live today. For joining me on the segment live today, man. You know, traveling all the way from Austin, Texas.
Yeah, no doubt.
You know, just to get here to Oxford, Mississippi, at the Boys and Girls Club of North Oxford. You know, the show is sponsored by the William and Leanne Fry Foundation, and so yeah, I definitely I appreciate you for joining me on today.
Yeah, no problem, man.
Well, listen, man, let's kind of dive right into it. You know, you're the assistant defensive line coach, man, at the University of Texas.
Yes, sir.
But you're a kid from Mississippi.
Thanks.
So talk about what it was like for you growing up in Lena, Mississippi.
Okay, like he already said, man, a native of Lena, Mississippi. Probably a population of maybe 300 people, you know, small 2A school. Actually, it was crazy. I spent my summers right up the road, Panola County, Como, right off Highway 51. That's where my dad grew up. I spent at least 2 or 3 weeks there every summer, me and my brother with my grandmother and my grandfather who passed 2 years ago. But it's just been it was a great experience, man, because coming from a little country town like that, like I said, 200, 300 people at max, graduating class of 35. You know, I leave there, I go play JUCO ball, and then I venture out to Birmingham and play collegiate football. Now I'm in a city setting. You know, I'm from the country, you know, hay in my backyard, I'm hunting, I'm fishing, and now I'm in the city. You know, so it's a big culture shock, and it opened my mind to so much more. You know what I'm saying? So I'm thankful for where I came from, but I'm happy where I'm at.
Man, coming from at the time, it was Lee County. Well, it was South Lee.
Yeah. Then that's probably where everybody, you know, over 35 years old knows it as.
Oh yeah.
You know, South Lee High School. So.
Oh yeah, definitely. What was it like for you being recruited at such a small program? Like, did you know how to take it?
Right. So I came out class of 2014, which had some great talent. You know, I played with some of the great talent that played here at Ole Miss, like the Ronald Walkers, the Dayall Harrises. You know, they were all class of 2014. It was tough. You know, I started playing varsity ball in 8th grade. You know, like I said, with a small program like that, and you can attest to it. You did the same thing. Before we consolidated, our schools were in the same district, rivals at that. Mm-hmm. You know, you would play up at a young age. So I had 5 years of varsity experience, but I felt like my body and my performance didn't really change till maybe my 11th grade year, where I kind of set myself apart from everybody else. From being like a good player in the community to kind of being like, okay, this kid right here might have a chance of going to play somewhere. Was always smart enough. I had to figure out, you know, I wasn't always the most athletic or always the fastest, but I was smart. So I figured out, like, okay, hard work and just knowing what's going on could kind of propel me a little higher than everybody else. Mm-hmm. So, like I said, I had to say, 11th grade year, had some great production, and people kind of like, okay, let's take a look at him. Still need to see a little something. Senior year, we had the best record in school history. Actually made it to the second round of the playoffs, which was a great accomplishment because my school is predominantly a basketball program. If I'm not mistaken, like top 2 in like most state championships in the state of Mississippi. So that's what everybody's waiting on. They waiting to get on the hardwood, but we were trying to do something on the football field. So I say all that to say, had like D2 schools, had SWAC schools, 3 or 4 JUCOs, you know, and everybody was like, well, you can just go to Jackson State. You know, you can go to Alcorn, you go to Mississippi Valley State.
Jackson State is a thing now.
It's a thing now. So, like, you know, in 2011, 12, you know, Jackson State was good, and then that's when I graduated. That's when they started, you know, somewhat of the downfall. You know, they weren't winning it as many SWAC championships as they were. And Alcorn was the school. I also had Alcorn, and I was this close going to Alcorn. I was like, well, I'm just gonna go to Alcorn. They recruited me the hardest. And then, you know, I just kind of prayed about it, and I was like, I'm going to bet on myself. Mm-hmm. I'm going to go JUCO, do 2 years, and kind of see what happens after that.
So Zach, who introduced you to the game? Who introduced you to the game, to sports, period?
I would say my dad. My dad introduced me to it, didn't force it upon me. My dad played football at North Panola High School. And everybody that's a football fan in Mississippi knows about the South Panola. You know, so that was their rival, and he would just tell me stories about those and him playing and some of the great players that he played with at North Panola, and it intrigued me. But like I said, he never forced it upon me. My dad stopped playing football in like 9th and 10th grade, which is crazy. My dad's 6'5", 320 pounds, like a big fella. You would think he would go to the league. I think what he did, strategically, was not force it upon me, but kind of just tell me where he messed up, what he would have did better. It kind of showed me like, hey son, you got this talent, like this is what you're good at. Point out the good things that I'm good at and kind of, you know, just helping me showcase them. And when the time came, I was 8 years old, 3rd grade, I'll never forget it. That's when they started the Little League in Carthage. That was the first year they ever started Little League, and I've been playing since I was 8. I played from when I was 8 to 22 years old, so 14 years of playing ball.
Do you remember your welcome to football moment?
I do. It was like Oklahoma drill. The drill that everybody sees on social media, like, oh, this separate the boy from the men, you know? And I was 8 years old, and like I said, my dad said, do you want to play? I said, yes. I didn't know the difference. To be honest, I didn't know the difference between O-line and D-line. You know? I knew, you know, if you catch the ball, you can go score. You know, I knew the basics, but I didn't know the difference. I was just out there playing. And I could say that whole 8th grade year, I mean, not 8th grade year, but when I was 8 years old, my first year playing what we call Pee Wee or Little League football, it just showed me the physicality. And I liked it. I was a physical kid. I was a bigger kid than everybody. Like, I was in 3rd grade, and I was playing with kids that were in 5th or 6th grade. Mm-hmm. I was that big, you know. So I was out there getting, you know, manhandled for the most part, but I looked at it as a challenge, like, all right, I got to go back the next year and do better, you know, and then it just kept going from there, you know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah, so Zach, man, you started your football career, of course, at South Lee County, and then Colin, mm-hmm. and then transitioned to UAB. But in your grades in school never wavered. Right. So kind of talk about being balancing being a student athlete.
Right. So I don't tell people this a lot, I guess because I don't want to feel like I'm bragging. But like my mom, she was big on grades. Like my mom has a PhD, you know, has three degrees. Like her biggest thing was the academics. You don't care what sport you play, tennis, golf, it don't matter. I'm gonna support you, but you gotta have your grades. You know, my dad's the same way. And I graduated number 1 in my class, not because I was the smartest. Like that, I tell people that all the time. Like I definitely was not the smartest person in my class. It literally was because when other kids would kind of slip up, that's when my mom would apply pressure. You know, she would apply pressure like, okay, you made an 85, why you didn't make a 90? Or you made a 90, why you didn't make a 95? You know, back then I think a C was like an 80. You know, back when I was in high school, a C was like an 80.
Yeah.
So now that's like a B.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I coached high school for 2 years, so I was a teacher. The grading scale kind of wavered. It went from 95 to 100 to 90, you know, so on and so forth. So, like, that's the type of pressure she was putting me under. Mm-hmm. You know, obviously I'm the oldest. I got a younger brother. She was a little bit more lenient with him. You know, baby's boy. That's what happens.
I mean, you're gonna say that you're the oldest. You're gonna think she was more.
Right, you think I'm the first child, but nah, she applied that pressure on me, and I appreciate her for that. You know, so academics was a big thing. I enjoyed school, which is crazy. You know, I enjoyed sports. I knew that's something I had to do to be able to play.
So talk about the importance for you for importance of mentorship.
Mentoring is so key, so vital. Coming from where we come from, you know, you don't have as many, you know, especially black males in the community that you can really look up to a certain extent. You know, I grew up with some great guys, coaches, preachers, or pastors, you know, uncles, whoever it was. I had people always in my corner. I think that just came from, you raised by the community where we're from. It doesn't have to be your mom or your dad or your uncle or whoever to kind of discipline you when they see you out doing something. I think just that country feel where we're from, like that really helped you out. Because wherever I go, it's an eye on me. Somebody know me. Everybody knows my granddad. That's Johnny Howard. That's his grandson. So I'm kind of walking on rocks everywhere I'm going. So not in a bad way, but it just kind of kept you in line. And I would just say, like, the male figures in my family, both of my grandfathers, my dad, older cousins, pastors, things like that, really just guided me and did the same thing like my dad did. Just kind of showing you, like, hey, you have a future in this, whatever you want to do, whether it's sports, whether it's you want to be a doctor, you want to be a lawyer, whatever it is. They always just gave me that little push. And I thank them for that as well.
Well, transition to your time now at the University of Texas, being the assistant defensive line coach. What has been the biggest adjustment for you going from a graduating class of 35, 36 people? I understand that.
Right.
Graduating class of 35 people to now you're coaching 4-stars, 5-star guys.
It was a big transition, but I think I was prepared for that transition because I told you I went JUCO and played with some guys that were ranked just like the kids I coach now, but didn't have the academics. That's the biggest holdback. There's a few guys that might have some off-the-field issues, but the biggest issue that kids are at JUCO for is grades. That wasn't the case for me, obviously. I looked at JUCO as an opportunity to prepare myself and play higher level football, but a lot of kids that were there, great kids, great teammates, people I talk to every day. Still talk to my JUCO teammates every day, even more than I talked to the ones from UAB. That's how tight our bond was. It was like a step up from high school, I guess you could say. But it was academics, and that was the biggest struggle that they had. So now coaching 4-star and 5-stars, I feel like I can relate to them. I consider myself a player's coach. Over the course of my career, I had some really good coaches, but I also had some coaches that I didn't feel like related to me as well. So once I got into the coaching field, especially now, I'm 26. They're 18, ranging from 18 to 22-year-olds. I'm not too far removed from them, and I still have to have that higher authority with them. But I can relate to them. They can come to me and talk to me about anything. So just being able to relate to them, knowing their stature. I was ranked, 4-star, number 5 player in the nation when I was in JUCO. So I get it. I tell them all the time, you can be here one day and the next day you can be here. So I just love the fact that I can relate to them and kind of just tell them I've been in your position, and what not to do, what you need to do. So
Zach, before we kind of bring this thing full circle, I want to pause to say this episode is sponsored by the William and Leanne Fry Foundation. We're located here in Oxford, Mississippi, at the Boys and Girls Club of North Oxford. So Zach, overcoming adversity, man. Can you talk about a time where, whether it was JUCO, at UAB, or coaching now, where you had to overcome some sort of adversity?
I would say three instances, and I already spoke on one as far as my recruitment in high school, so not to dig back into that. But moving forward, the second one would be in JUCO. Like I said, I was ranked number 5, 4-star. Had offers from a little bit of everybody. Was getting looked at by Alabama, Kentucky. You name it. Like I had it, and that was different. Another culture shock because I'm coming from having Mississippi Valley, Jackson State offers to now I'm talking to Nick Saban, Kirby Smarts, like I'm like, wow, I done made it. So I will say for a short period of time I did feel myself getting kind of arrogant, not really knowing that it wasn't because of anything I did, so fast forward to my sophomore year, and I pretty much had those offers after my freshman season. Fast forward to my sophomore year, first game, we're playing Itawamba Community College. It's like the last drive, right? So it's like a minute left. We're up maybe like 4 or 5 points. Quarterback throws the ball, I intercept it, right? Boom. Everybody thinks the game's over. I'm running back. I run it maybe 10 yards, and the running back hits me in my left knee. And I had hurt this knee when I was in high school, but it wasn't anything major. Hits me in my left knee. I get up, I celebrate. I throw the ball up. I'm celebrating. 40 seconds left or so. I think the game over. We actually have to go back on the field one more drive. And when I got ready to get up, my knee just stayed locked. So I'm kind of like, what's going on? Because your adrenaline run in. When I caught the interception, I didn't feel it. I run off, like no problem. So I kind of get my leg back loose, get on the field, finish the game. I tell the trainer, like, man, my knee's just sore. Ice it up. In junior college, you don't have all the resources. I keep playing on like 2 more weeks. We play like East Mississippi the next week. That was on Netflix when we beat them. I'm like, I'm still hype off there. I'm like, my knee's still sore, like it's swelling up. Play another game, we win. We like number 3 in the nation now. So like more schools are calling me. But my knee, I'm like, man, my knee just keeps hurting and it won't go down. But I'm playing on it though. So I go to the doctor to get an MRI. Like I tore my meniscus. So in JUCO though, like when you get an injury like that, that's the biggest, fault of why kids don't go, because if you get injured, that screws your whole, recruitment process. So I'm like, I can't tell nobody. I'm gonna just keep playing. So we on game 3, 4, 5. I'm playing till we get to like game 7. I'm like, Coach, I can't even do stretch line. I can't even do high knees without my knee locking up. It had tore that bad. So I see how they say adversity, because in the instance of 5-6 weeks, I went from 10, 15 offers to like 2. Quick. Coaches weren't responding. They would call me every day. I called them, blocking me, rejecting the calls. So, I'm a 18, 19-year-old. Like, I was here. Like I just said, you can be here one day, down here the next, Coach Clark at UAB gave me an opportunity. They had just brought back the program, which gave us the 2016 season off. So I took that to my advantage. Got a chance to rehab my knee. Had a great career there. Won a bowl game. Won the conference championship. Both were the first in school history. Made some great history there. Love Birmingham. But it just showed like the type of adversity that I had to face. And it was humbling, man. Like I look back at it now, I went through a little bit of depression just because it just all happened so fast. The turnover was so fast from, the season going off and graduate in December, sign my letter of intent, go off to wherever. I'm thinking I'm finna go to Alabama or something like that, or Georgia or something. And then I'm humbled and I'm at UAB, which was a great institution. Got my degree from there, which is great, but it's not where I thought I would be, And just now, I would say adversity, as far as just trying to level up in the coaching field. I did 2 years of high school. I actually, take it about GA at UAB once I got done for a few months. Then did 2 years of high school at Hueytown High School in the Metro Birmingham area. And now I'm blessed to be at the University of Texas. So just coming from where I come from, and don't many people make it out. I got family members, I got classmates that's, either locked up, I got one that's about to get out now, or either, just dealing with different mental issues, or drug addiction, wherever it is.
Or some of the best athletes you will ever come across.
Some of the way more athletic than me. I was just blessed enough to make it out and make an opportunity. Take advantage of my opportunity that I was given, man. So Zach, man, to wrap this thing up, you have any words of inspiration for any of the young kids that are not only here in the Boys and Girls Club right now, but just that's going to be watching this later? I would just say, set your goals high. When I was younger, at one point I wanted to be a lawyer. I quickly found out I didn't want to be a lawyer, but you couldn't tell me that then. And I say that now to say, just set your goals high. You never know what avenue in life you'll go after high school. I never thought I'd be a coach. When I got to college, I did exercise science. I was like, well, I'm gonna do PT school. I'd be a physical therapist or something. My heart wasn't in it. I say that to say follow your heart too. Wherever you set your goal, just follow your heart. Do something that's gonna make you happy, not anyone else. Because at the end of the day, every day you wake up, when you guys get older and you have jobs or you go to school, you make those decisions where I want to get my degree from and things like that. You're the person that has to get up and go to class. You're the person that has to get up and go to work. So make yourself happy. And I feel like people that truly support you and truly love you, they will be happy with your happiness.
Zachary Williams, man. Listen, I appreciate you for traveling all the way to Oxford, Mississippi.
No problem, my brother.
To come be on the segment, man, and I look forward to continuing to follow your journey.
Yes, sir.
Journey to greatness.
Yes, sir.
All right, that concludes the show. Let's go.
Got the power when it's time to make a change. One time for the underdog, yeah. One time for the underdog, yeah. One time for the underdog, yeah. One time for the underdog.